Super Soul Sisters, and we're right here again at Dotash Exclusive to bring you a whole lot more. And my Super Soul Sister today, Stella Nantumbwe, she's an actress, former Miss Uganda,
Yes.
she's in charge. So basically there's a lot of things she has done, and of course that makes her qualified to be a humanitarian because
Yes.
she's pushing for a lot of things, of course, that we're going to find out with the rest of our viewers who are watching. You're very welcome.
Thank you so much for having
Yes,
me. I
I'm glad.
appreciate it.
I'm really glad you made time. Now, we do bring amazing ladies here to talk to us, to tell us their stories. Their stories, not your stories. Because
Yes.
quite often we confuse those two things. And I must say I'm very, very honored personally to have a conversation with you. Now, my name is Joanna Kajumba. Let's get into it. I know all of you are dying to find out a number of things. So, Stella,
Yes.
we're honored you made time.
Thank you so much,
made
Rowana.
time.
Thank you for
Yes,
having me.
I know you're busy, you're quite a busy time.
I try.
Yes.
Yes.
But I want the people to understand out there, when we're talking about Stella Nantumbwe, before all your achievements or challenges and the things you've been through, who were you born to and when?
My mother is Miss Angela Nachigonya and my father is Mr. Rogers Nsarako. I grew up in a single parent home, so
Okay.
I was raised by my mother. I have 12 siblings, of which I only live with 5 of them from my
Okay.
mother's side. So,
Okay.
yeah. Big family, blended, extended, and interesting in
Yeah.
its own way.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is true. So 12 of you, but
Yes.
you've lived with 5 all your life?
Yes.
Or every now and then?
Every now and then, but primarily I lived only with my mother. So her children are...
Okay. And do you have any boys in the mix?
yes, we have boys in the mix. With my mother, we're 4 girls, one boy. So
Oh.
then the others, there's a lot of dynamics. If I go down the list,
I
the family
understand,
tree
yeah,
is a
I know.
unique one.
It's-
So,
yes, I know.
Yeah.
So how was it like growing up, being 5 of you, being with your mother, and of course, looking at the fact that you grew up with her,
Yes.
primarily with her, what was that like?
It was interesting. I was always surrounded by women.
Yeah.
So more girls in the house because the boy wasn't always there. He couldn't be around that many women.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was predominantly just
the
a
older
female
one or
house.
the younger
He's
one?
the oldest.
Oh,
So
okay.
for him, he moved on quickly. But it was quite different. My mother is a businesswoman, so she worked most of her life to try and raise us and put us through school and take care of us. And so, of course, I was raised mostly by my sisters and helpers, but she did her best.
I know.
Yeah.
And when your big brother left, because I'm thinking being the big brother,
Yeah.
probably overly protective at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
What did that turn out to be for you, the girls, in the end?
Well, when he left, it's like he left mom with more sergeant shoes.
Yeah.
She was such a sergeant. She was a very strict mother.
Yeah.
She really did her best to try and manage 4 girls growing up, different age groups. But when he left, she just became tougher.
Tougher, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
much tougher than usual. But I was still the baby of the family, so I get
So
away
you
with
were
something.
surviving a couple of things.
There, yeah.
That is good.
Yeah.
So what schools did you go to?
I went to Buganda Road primary school first,
Yes.
and then I went to Kaboja Junior, and then Kaboja International, which is now Kaboja International, then Vienna College. My nursery school was Nakasero Nursery,
Okay.
and I did my university, my first degree with the University of Greenwich in London, and my master's I did with HEC Paris.
Okay. So let's go back a bit. You did your primary
In Buganda Road
in
first.
Uganda Road first.
Yes.
Okay. Were you with any of your siblings?
With my sister, Lona.
The one who follows you?
Yes, the one I follow.
The one you follow?
Yes.
Okay. What was that like?
She was protective.
I can imagine.
Yes, she needed to protect me because because I always got into trouble, not in a way that, you know,
Yeah.
the usual way, but bullies.
You found yourself.
I had a lot of
Yes.
bullies growing up.
Oh, so
Yeah,
sorry
they would
about
bully
that.
my eyes. They were so big. I was so skinny. I was so tall. So kids would pick on me a lot. So she would always
She had
come
to
in to
step
fight
in.
some battles for me.
I can imagine what
Yeah.
that feels like. So when you changed schools, you left with her or you left her
I
behind?
left with her still. And
okay.
in the next school, bullying wasn't necessarily
A
allowed.
thing,
It was a
yes.
smaller group of kids. In, say, a UPE school, you're
Yeah.
a big class. You know, the teacher doesn't have time for all of you
Yeah.
individually. But this time it was a bit narrowed down and school was easier.
And I think people don't talk about these things.
Yeah.
Bullying became sort of a culture, right?
Yes.
That to be bullied, it means you went to school,
Exactly.
you experienced.
Exactly.
But it does torment people in some way.
It did. In fact, it sort of in a way shaped a lot of who I am, because they would tell me I have gigantic eyes and frog eyes, and I grew up thinking I'm the ugliest person I know.
God, no.
You know,
Not
I
anything
hated
like
being tall. I hated certain things about myself. To grow up and people are like, oh, we like your eyes. I'm like, what? All this
I know. I was going to say. I mean, guys, look at her. She's beautiful.
I
And you
hated
see,
my eyes.
that's the thing, though. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know how easy it was for you. Did you ever share this? Apart from your sister, did you ever go back and share with your mom?
I would try to tell my mother, but children, because sometimes as parents, now I'm a parent myself. We'll talk about that later, but we don't teach our children consequences of their words.
Yes.
So for me, if it's the eyes, the calling me skinny, then I grew up thinking this is bad. So someone once asked me, what's the one thing you change about yourself? I said, these eyes. If I could have a surgery, make them smaller, I'd be so happy. I'd feel so much better. Life would be
Imagine how
easy.
that-
And then that body image thing came in, even to the point when I was competing for Miss Uganda, I still struggled
You
a
had
bit.
a bit of doubts because you're like, it kept coming back
Yeah, it
to
keeps
you.
coming back. Like, am I really, is it possible? Why me, you know, all that. It does.
And I
come
think
back.
parents, let's be honest, sometimes the kids won't tell you.
Yeah, they won't.
If they tell you and you're sort of like, they'll be like, okay, so now I can't tell her because nothing is going to
Nothing
be
is-
done about this. Now some of you in secondary school, some of you think, you've arrived now. When you're bullied, you are part of the school.
Yeah.
But the kids that are bullies too, when your parents were bullied, this child is going to keep doing this to people all through their lives.
Yes.
They've damaged someone.
Yep.
And I don't think you'd want anyone to do the same to your child. So I think, like you say, we shouldn't even wait
We should know.
for a child to come home saying, oh, I was bullied. I think parents should take it upon themselves to talk to them.
Yes.
Whether you're the bully or not,
Yes.
the child needs to know it is wrong.
It's wrong.
To
Words,
pick on people.
actions, you know.
Yes, to pick on how people look, on how people talk, on how people walk. Basically, you're bullying someone's existence. That this is who you are.
Yeah.
So if you don't like how I look, that's your problem.
And we never had any of those sessions in school. So you grow up with whatever image you're cast
And these
upon.
are the people we're seeing today bullying people as adults.
So then this person grows up with image issues and you don't really know where it comes from. But it seems like a small seed, but when planted, it really sprouts into a big tree if nothing ever comes to counter that growth of this negative thing that's planted.
I'm sorry I'm picking on this
No,
most
I
because we hardly
understand.
talk about these things.
Yes.
So when we have amazing super soul sisters like you bring up the topic, we're like, you know what, this is something we need to discuss.
Yes.
That is true. So thank God you had your sister.
Yes.
Yes. And she would come in, I think, constantly. She was also affected.
Yes.
You know, as much as you're affected.
Yeah.
Now imagine every time your sister having to come in and deal with your age mates
Yes.
over things like this because their parents didn't talk
We
to
actually had some meetings in school and they'll come and sit and the parent goes away and then the child goes, I'm coming for you again, and you're like,
oh yeah, like
what did I do? I should just keep quiet, you know, and then school becomes uncomfortable and you perform badly, but your parent doesn't know why. But it's just uncomfortable to exist.
Because there's so much on how you look, how you speak,
Yes.
what you should be.
What you should be to them.
I
You're
mean,
too tall, you're
parents,
too skinny.
talk to your
you're too
children.
this.
Let them, don't let their we shouldn't let children's insecurities be placed on other children. Like if your child has their insecurities, talk to them, help them find themselves. Because this child is insecure, they're going to come for you so that they feel better about themselves. Which is sad.
And it's a very sad thing to see.
It is sad. It is sad. Now, those of you who bullied her, you must Exactly.
Some of them come back in my inbox like, "What? You grew up?" I'm like, "Yeah, I grew up."
Like they never did anything wrong
No,
to
like
you.
never
They just
did
move
anything
on
wrong.
like,
I forgave them, you know, it was part of my story now. But
Yes.
yeah, it wasn't the most. Even my name Nantumbwe became an issue. You know, we don't teach children these things. As you know, your name is like
they bullied you for your name.
for
They
my
found it
name.
funny.
Yeah,
They-
like why would you say what is that name? So then I'm like, I need to change my name, mommy.
No, we need to talk. This is a serious topic for parents. Yes,
Yes.
serious topic.
Yes.
You don't have to wait. Your child might be the bully, so don't wait for teachers to call you in school. Talk to your children when it's still early.
Yeah.
Let them be confident with themselves. That way, they will not bully other people.
Yeah.
Let's learn, and these are the bullies we have today. Like I say,
Yes, and
these
they
are
grow
people
up
who are
into
going to
big
bully
bullies.
someone into their existence to try and go and cocoon themselves because, or if you don't like how someone looks, talks, speaks, everything, that is your problem.
Yes.
You know, imagine someone didn't like how you look, speak, talk, walk. How would you,
Yeah.
you know? So we need to coexist and accept that we are different. So is this partly why you changed school?
My mother, I think she felt we weren't getting much in the PLE system.
Yeah,
Because
being so
you
many,
disappear.
Yeah,
You know, you're just in there. There's so many desks, so many
that is
kids.
true. The attention to
Yeah,
detail
attention
is
to
not
detail
there.
was not there, and I could see her work hard to move us. It wasn't easy, but she did her best, and we moved schools. For me, it was a culture shock. Coming from what a PLE school is to this school where we're 20, is it 26 in a class? I was like, what
You're
is
like,
this?
wait, I'm going to be seen.
I was very,
You
I was
begin to
like,
feel like you're very visible.
like, this is weird. I'm used to lining up until there for my plate of beans, you
Thank
know.
you. Yeah.
You know?
But now everyone is.
And now everybody can see me, you know.
How did that change the way you did things? Because you've come from an environment that is
Yes.
populated in a sense that you can disappear.
Yes.
And no one will even realize how you're dealing with
Yes.
things if you're picking to one where you can easily be
see me.
recognized and seen.
I always loved excelling. I had this thing, I have to win.
Yes.
It's not a good mentality if it's abused, but so I knew they were actually surprised that the first time I did well.
Yes.
They're like, what's up?
But yeah.
But I was, I think, number 7 that first time with the 26, and I was like, okay.
And remember, you've changed school.
Now I've just changed
Yeah.
schools. But it also was awkward for me to now be in the center. Like the teacher is zoning in on me
Yeah.
in everything. You have no. They say, who's going to dance in folk songs? You have. Who's going to? You're there. They see you. You can't hide. You can't say no.
Yeah.
You can't. So it was shocking for me to be so seen
Yeah.
when I was so
And
used
you remember
to
you already had
blending.
insecurities from.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it was shocking for me to be all this. Like we know each other, every class. So these are the 20 here. These are the. I was like, this is new for me.
I know. And what, because now that you're out there, you're
Yeah.
visible, the teachers
Yeah.
want you to be engaged.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you're participating in school?
Of course, MDD.
Yes.
I would do the man and the woman in those folk songs. Come out
Everything.
wearing the kanzu,
Yeah.
get the beard paint, you know.
Yeah.
I love that. I tried dancing.
Yeah.
That one,
No.
God is still communicating. I
It's
would
still,
do,
you know,
any traditional dance they gave, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm a part of the team, but quality.
You just went along, eh?
Yeah. But acting and singing were easier
Was your
than
thing.
the dancing.
Yeah.
'Cause
I mean, when you're
coordination for me is
multi-talented,
unique.
there's some things you're really good at, and others you just
I'm
float
like,
along.
Yeah, the dancing, I'm still learning 2 left feet, but we're learning.
Yeah, that's good. So now you're building your self-confidence. People are appreciating your work. Let me use the word work. 'Cause you were crafting your work at the time. You didn't know.
Yes.
But what did that mean to you as a child? These are things you never considered. Did you feel a change in some way?
In my growth.
Yes.
I love that the school my mother put me in zoned in on the things I love.
Yes.
The music. We were actually taught music.
Yeah.
I wanted to always speak better. We had a teacher who was very passionate about her English, and she shaped
Yes,
she shaped
how
this woman you see
yes,
now.
yeah.
You know, and she was very keen on how you pronounce things, how you speak, how you present yourself. And so in that school, I was able to learn that the change was happening, the music, the dance, the drama.
Yes.
I was able to truly zone in and see the aspects of it that I may have missed in a PLE school.
I can imagine,
to understand that you can speak music and write it and do all this. Like, oh, okay.
And they don't do that anymore. I don't know what happened.
I don't
know what happened. Okay, so
yeah.
You stayed in the same school, right?
Yes,
and
all the way until
P7.
PLE, yes.
Yeah, the PLEs.
Yes.
And you've built confidence. You
to-
know who you are now. You're growing
Yes.
into someone
Now
else
they
you are
throw me
now.
into another one.
Indeed. So you said from there you went to
Kaboja Secondary.
Kaboja Secondary.
Yes.
What were you leaned into? Your inclination in like your
for
subject,
class?
your favorite stuff? Yes.
I was very good at biology and physics until they changed my teacher. Things changed. I was never a chemistry person.
Yeah.
I loved English, loved the arts. Basically the arts were my thing.
You were your thing, yeah.
So I would add a bit of biology and physics, and then
That's
later
nice.
on as time went, I only had biology to love.
There's something you mentioned that I remember.
Tell me.
That the teachers.
Yeah.
It's very important, the teachers.
Yeah.
You know, you will not like a subject, but
Yeah.
you will get a teacher that makes you
love it.
love it,
Yeah.
interested, and even do better in
Yeah.
that subject.
Yeah.
Because some teachers are all about being strict and being
And shouting.
so
And complicating.
exactly. But that's something I think most people ignore. But
Yes.
we all say it every once in a while.
Yeah.
We do say it. So you went to Kaboja. What was that like?
It was another shock.
Now your sister was in a different school.
No, she went before me. I just followed.
Oh, so you and your sister, or
Yes.
that
Yes.
reminds
So
me of
she
mine
set
as
the
well.
tone for me. And in Kaboja, again, it was another shock
Shock, yeah.
because the children there were also in a different tax bracket.
Yeah.
My mother did her best.
Yeah.
And now I'm interacting with children from all walks of life. It's an international school. They're Tanzanians, Kenyans,
Yeah.
the ones who've come from the UK for punishment.
I know. Go
The
back
ones that
home.
Go back home. Punish.
Yeah.
So it was a diverse group of kids,
Oh, yeah.
different homes, and now it's boarding school. And again, shock for me.
I can imagine.
I was lost. I did not know what to do with myself. Cliques
Different
form quickly.
cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cliques form quickly. Friendships build. It's all this competition. You're
How
now
easy was it for you
teenagers.
to make friends, by the way?
It wasn't.
Because you seem like a very
think
calm,
by week
keep to
3
yourself.
By week 3, I had finally settled.
Oh, okay.
I had week 1 friends. We shifted and worked around week 2. Week 3, we had
and then you had
an
your stable
establishment.
friends. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. I like how you say an establishment.
Yeah, it was
Because
finally
when you join in, you're not
established.
sure.
No, I wasn't
You
sure.
know, everyone is sort of all
And
over the
everybody
place.
you just wiggle your way around and finally you find your people.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, do you remember anything specific
About my friends or
about your school life that deep down you're like, how?
we were very clicked up in that school. I think we watched a lot of movies,
Yeah.
American
the
movies.
Yeah,
So
I can
it's
imagine.
a lot of what you see in an American high school
And
play
then
out.
you sort of like, okay.
So it was very. I don't have words for it. It was very tasking. You really have to, again, stand out in your space,
Yeah.
be excellent in your grades, be excellent outside school, have more things that you're focused on,
Yeah.
and still maintain your rapport in the school community.
Exactly.
So that was work for me.
That must have been.
I worked a bit.
The social
Aspect of it
demands
was
are quite.
exhausting.
Can you imagine?
For a
Like
while
when
there,
you-
it took me off my books, but I got it together.
Yeah, but see, that's what happens sometimes. The groups or the cliques
Yes.
can be a good thing or a bad,
bad thing,
But
yeah.
most times you get lost because I think you're a teenager.
And
you know?
I don't feel like enough is done to help children settle into these kinds of relationships, because it does set a tone for when you're older.
Yes.
When you're older, you'll still be in your office and you'll have your cliques and you know,
Exactly.
in your business place, how do you deal with these relationship dynamics? No one teaches these children how are we
Just sort of
navigating life. You tell them, don't click up, they're like, why? That's my friend. You're not supporting me, you know? So I had to work around finding real friends, and then we didn't even know what friendship was.
I understand.
We had all these little clouds and nobody was there to teach. So you're sort of leading yourself, and you're watching others fall, or you're watching them be successful, and you really have no roadmap.
That is true.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of guidance needed around that
There
age.
is.
Yes.
I can't stress it enough. It is the time you either lose or gain your child.
Yeah, that is very true. So, were you the good kid?
I was a
or
good
the
girl.
stubborn
I was a prefect.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Environment prefect, and then I got environment prefect after winning Miss Wildlife Uganda. That was my first pageant. So
which class was that?
That was S2.
What?
Yes, that was my first pageant. So the schools would come together, Chibuli, everybody, smack, compete, and they.
Oh, I can imagine you were popular. You
that
had to
night,
do with that
I was
too.
the queen. I came back with a crown. I was like, what?
I know.
That was my first little crown, and I was very proud.
Yeah.
So from that, I got environment prefect, and then I was prefect all through school.
So basically, you were pushing, you found yourself, and this is the line of work you're still in today.
Yes.
So you always wanted to make a change, because this is one thing that people do not realize, or what I've figured from what people understand by beauty pageants. They think beauty pageants is just appearance.
Just to come and show up,
Yes, but I think it's teaching, and I think we need to appreciate this more.
Yes.
It's teaching people to be a part of their society and make a change for their society. Beauty is not just the beauty. That's why they're looking for things like brains.
Yes, that's very important.
Social skills.
Yes.
And these are some of the qualities that shape you. Even if you went and became a CEO of something, that social aspect is very, very important. So, you become the environment prefect after getting your crown.
After getting my crown.
How did your mother?
Oh, she was happy.
Really? She was very supportive.
You know what? She surprised me. And my mother, I thank God for her in that aspect, that every time I woke up and said, Mommy, I want to do
this,
she would make a way. She would say, okay. Even Miss Uganda, she was like, are you sure? She gave me the money for the bus. I got onto a bus and went to Masaka. So to that point, even for Miss Wildlife, she bought me the clothes and said, you wear this for casual, you wear, you know.
Oh, that's so
and
sweet.
then she paid for us to make the
cultural
wear, you know. It was a basket thing, someone stitched it.
Nice.
She was
and your
supportive.
friends who are also now, you see, that's the thing. You have your friends making the clothes for you. So that says a lot.
It does, and it was really amazing.
That
like
is
she
so
really
sweet.
softened my heart with that. It was one of those days. She just came on a Saturday and she's like, "The thing is next week, right? Here are your clothes." I was like, "What? She did that for me?"
That's so sweet.
And then it gave me a little boost. So whenever I went on stage for that pageant, I was like, "Yeah, my mother's there.
My mother is there.
She
She's
did
supporting
this."
me.
Yeah.
And that's how it's very important.
Yeah.
So now you're an environment prefect for how long?
Don't even remember. I remember I was a prefect all through school.
Really?
Truly, yes, all the way from
You kept getting different positions. Yes. So you were an environment prefect.
Head girl.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You wanted to get head girl.
Twice, but did not get it. I
Must be
got
some A-level student that took.
I always felt I could do it.
Yeah.
You know.
I do.
It was like
But back in the time, I think they thought, A-level would do.
But even when I got to A-level, I don't remember what they gave me. Is it sports? And then they gave me another one, and I was like, oh, it's okay.
Sports?
Can you imagine?
Okay. And you did some bit of sports and things like that?
I used to play basketball until the girl in me blossomed, and I was like, this is not very feminine of me, so I stepped away. But I used to play basketball, and I would run the marathons at school.
Oh, wow.
I have endurance, I just don't have speed.
I like how you say that.
I had the endurance,
but not the speed.
So you put me 100 meters, I'll fail.
Okay.
But I can run the course and hold my fort until we get maybe second place or something.
So let's go back a bit, because now I asked you for memories in school.
Yes.
But is there something in particular that, of course, I know because mothers they're a little bit more, strict when it comes to certain things. Is there something in particular where you felt like maybe you got in a bit of trouble with her?
It is a hard one.
It's a hard one, eh?
I think one time I spoke out of term. When you're young and all these boys are sending you letters, so I told my older sister about it. I was like, oh my God, all these boys are sending me letters. She was not happy with me. She drove her car out of that school on visitation day without giving me pocket money.
She was like,
she's like, what did she tell you on the phone? Huh? She said what? They're sending her what? She put the grab there and just left. I was like,
okay.
How could you? I was like, okay, I'm sorry. That's. Other than that, I was very obedient.
You're very obedient.
Naturally, very obedient
you moved
person.
for. You always wanted to win, and do well.
Be a good girl. Follow the rules. Don't get in trouble. All that. I tried my best.
Okay, so you finished your senior 4 from
Kamboja, and then I moved to Vienna College.
Vienna College, Namgongo. What did you decide to do in your A-level?
I did economics, business, and computing, and mathematics. But you'll never find that one anywhere.
Well, yeah. So, because now already Kamboja is a bit different, if I'm not mistaken.
They were quite similar because
they're similar.
It closed. When that Kamboja closed, nearly my entire school moved to Vienna.
So all of you moved?
We just sort of... So it was very comfortable. The move was very familiar.
So you knew most of the people that you joined with school, so that became easy.
The head teacher was our former head teacher.
Oh.
Our parents trusted him. He's a good man, Mr. Kachika. And it was like a transition.
So basically the school, it's like just
the school just
moving
moved,
location.
And then, and then we found other kids who were at Vienna, but then we had the whole, we don't know you, you don't know us.
Kind of thing.
High school.
Yes,
fun.
I know, high school.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you, knowing that A-level, this is the years when you're now planning for what's next?
I think I changed a lot. I became more of a woman in that time. My books were very important to me. I zoned in on where I wanted to go because I knew I didn't want to study here. No offense to our school system. But I felt that I needed an edge. Yeah. I felt that I needed to push myself.
No, because you knew what your goal was here at this point.
I just needed to see other places, gain exposure, go and really use this international curriculum somewhere else. So I studied for
along
that.
this time, between your O-level and A-level, were you still doing any kind of pageants, apart from the one you did in senior 2?
No, I just did Miss Wildlife, and then I paused. And later on in university, I tried another one. And then when I left university, I did Miss
So
Uganda.
you did one senior 2, and that was it?
One senior 2, that was it. Then I did Miss Black Africa during university. That was in London. And then I did Miss Uganda.
Okay, so we'll get to those. Now, while at the University of Greenwich, this is where you did...
That's where I did business computing, and while there, I took part in a pageant.
The
Miss Black Africa.
Black Africa. That's nice. How did that go? Because see, it's been a while since you've done this.
In a way, it prepared me for Miss Uganda. Yeah. But those kinds of pageants have a different scale of how they do things. So the training needed to be tweaked for us to know what to really do. Okay. I didn't place, no winning, nothing. So it was just one of those.
No, but at least you tried something.
But at least I tried.
You picked something from it.
I did. I did.
I usually tell people sometimes you may fail at something, but you didn't fail.
Yeah. It
taught you something.
It was just a stepping stone.
Yeah, it did teach you something. So after University of Greenwich,
Then I came back home. and I went and worked with the UN briefly for 3 months, and from there I came to do Miss Uganda.
What were you doing at the UN?
We were working with the ECCC in Cambodia on they were having, the tribunal was sitting there for the Khmer Rouge, which was the genocide that happened years ago in Cambodia when they killed so many people. So we were creating a program, a virtual library for the memories of what happened during the genocide.
Yeah, and we need to keep things like that.
Yeah.
We need to keep things like that alive. Now, I think you can see the humanitarian in her.
Yeah.
Like for
Always
some reason,
finds a way.
you're always finding your way.
Yes.
And I think it's also a role for parents, friends, people in our communities to identify.
Yeah.
Because usually when when children grow into women and men, you do, if you've not followed, it can't just be abrupt.
No, it's
This
not.
is something that this person has always like constantly gone back to,
Yes.
or back and forth.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, sometimes people don't realize
Yeah.
what their kids are capable of.
Sure.
And then later they're like, she surprised us. And deep down you're like,
No, she didn't.
I've always done something like this. So when you go to United Nations and you work there for a while, what was that experience like for you?
It proved to me that I'm not meant for an office. So,
That's a good one. You said, this is not.
in the first week, I was like, no offices for me, thank you. This is not my life.
This is, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
you
not
picked something from that.
Not that it was a bad experience, great experience.
Yeah.
Actually, my boss there encouraged me to do Miss Uganda, but I was able to now zone in and say, I am maybe a person that's more creative and meant to
So
be
you
in
need to
different
be out there in the
places. Yeah.
field and engage
Yes.
and be a social being.
I'm a social being. I'm a social butterfly. I can't be
that is true.
all day. Tried it. Did not work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we must say we're here at Daughters Exclusive. They do give us the amazing space. They make it happen for us to make sure that we come. I know they're lovely. They're lovely to come here every time and host amazing Super Soul sisters like Stella here. And of course, I must say, we need to pass by, check by and see the former WBS building. It's here at Ginger Road. You cannot get lost. It's a beautiful furniture space and they've been very good to us.
Yes.
And I must say, I'm also glad you made time.
Thank you.
Honestly. And quickly, as we rush back to our conversation, you realize office is not for you.
Yes.
Now, sometimes we're told, you stay there, stick. Did you have a plan when you decided
When
to
I
leave?
went there, I was like, my uncle told me about the internship. I signed up, I got it.
Yes.
Now here I am flying to Cambodia, a new place. But while I was there, discovering this may not be me. And also discovering maybe this is me. It was both good and bad, but it was a learning curve. To work with so many international people. Now I know Australians and the internship program
Basically,
was big.
the experience you had
Yes.
when you went to school also did
Also
some
helped.
good
And I could
advantage.
just blend and we could work and learn from each other. And of course they get the surprise, what, you're Ugandan? And you're like this?
You're like-
I'm like, what did you think we're going to do?
do?
So, and Cambodia was also a culture shock. Not so many black people. I think we're like 10, by the way. So we stick out. So you're like a tourist attraction.
Out
People be
there,
taking
everyone's
pictures of
taking
you
pictures of you, yeah.
just because you're black. But it was fun for me. I always found it funny.
I know.
You like touch your hair and they're like, what is this? You know?
I know. I think they're
But
also
I was
like,
happy to go and raise the flag.
that is true.
Yeah.
And you can see this is your journey. This is your
Yes,
trail.
my small
It's
journey.
we're picking
We are.
similar things that have been like throughout your childhood and growing up. So you had a plan when you left?
Yes, when I moved there, I said, once I'm done, I will sign up, hopefully, maybe, and get a permanent position. But after that, while I was there, my boss suggested, why don't you try Miss Uganda? Because she was seeing a picture of Miss India on the computer. And she was an Indian. She's like, you, why don't you do Miss Uganda? I was like, oh, wait, why don't I do Miss Uganda?
Exactly.
I checked on the internet and I was right on time.
Yeah.
It was exactly as I arrived. So I landed from Cambodia, skinny, because I don't eat a lot. Tiny me, straight to Miss Uganda.
Now, you see, at this point, everyone is telling you, you need to do this.
Yeah,
You're
you should
realizing
try
that
it.
the people that bullied you in school could have been wrong.
Yes.
You know, as you get older, because if it was true, no one would be telling
No one
you
would
you're
be
beautiful.
telling
No
you.
one would be telling you you can do something.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it brings. It comes down to. There'll always be bullies.
There will always be bullies. Yes.
And I know I'm bringing this up because now, when you get into this field, it gets worse.
Oh, it did get worse.
Because they're judging you by how you look,
Yes.
by how you talk, by everything.
Where you go, who you associate
where you
with.
go, your social life. So, did you think about these things before
I
you
didn't.
went for Miss Uganda?
When I was
at
going
this
for
point?
Miss Uganda, I underestimated the media. But I also found strength that I didn't know I had.
Yeah.
Pre-pageant, like now, as they go through boot camp, all that was easy.
Yeah.
Not easy as in easy, but the
You
attacks
did
weren't.
see the, yeah.
But the minute you sign up, and in fact, even on crowning night, the next day, you get bullied again in the media, and then she's not pretty enough. She's not. Is this what they chose? Is that the best they could find? Is this what our country has? You know.
I know, very mean things.
Very mean
People
things.
are quite mean.
But I think God helped me find a way to stop trying to prove myself.
Yeah, because
So I
if
would
you-
let my presence be the proof. If you met me and you felt I was below par, that's okay. But
that's
if you met
your
me,
that's your problem,
yes,
because that's
and
your
you
standard
felt
of
like
things.
maybe we have a chance, that's also okay, and I'm thankful. So that allowed me to just have a shift. But also Miss Uganda does train you to handle the negative media, what to fan and what to leave, because sometimes we're fanning those flames, you know, they insult you
when
and
you
you give
respond
back.
to them, they're like, I know.
That's the first class of any media person. You
You
respond,
see, like
you
we,
get
we pointed this out. These are the people who are bullies as
bullies
kids.
and, yes,
And they think it's okay to body shame. They think it's okay to speak,
gossip,
to gossip, and make up all
lie,
sorts
slander,
of things,
yeah.
slander. And what you do not know is that someone could do the same to you. How would you feel if someone
Exactly.
talked about how you talk or how you look or
Exactly.
your social life, basically?
Exactly.
And I keep telling people, this life is, we're just living through
literally
it.
passing through.
And you never choose sometimes, you know, how your life should go or how it should be.
Sometimes
So, but
it
then I
surprises you.
realized that these people have their own insecurities.
Exactly.
So they feed on making someone else feel unworthy
They shine a light on your insecurities to dim the light on their own.
on their own, thank you,
Yeah.
insecurities. So we need to teach our children this. We're saying, it's just a child. That's going to be an adult
never.
in the very near future. And we can't keep having people like this.
Yes.
Constantly, these days they say gaslighting.
Yes, yes.
Constantly trying to,
Get a rise out of you.
out of someone else. I
Yeah.
mean, that means your child is not confident. So it comes back down to the parents. It comes back down to the mothers and fathers, you know, because sometimes they say the children pick.
One time a lady told me, "Oh, you'll never have children." And I was so taken aback.
Why?
I was like, why would you say that? And so I cried. And I
Oh,
went to
dear.
my mother and I said, "Mommy, this woman said this about me." And she said to me, "Is she the one who gives them?" My mother is a very confident woman. So she looked at me and said, "Is she the one who gives them?" And those words helped me know that indeed,
Just because they're
those are just
judging you by
opinions.
your career
Yes.
and what you're doing in life.
What
say,
they think, by the way.
what
you
they
know
think.
that it's the picture sometimes will say what it says, but what was the context behind the picture?
Yeah.
What was the person doing? And what have you done that people haven't seen?
That is very
If we
true.
shine a light on your private life or your mind even, because some people are just rotten inside, but
Yeah.
beautiful outside.
That is very true.
So it's also understanding that part, that as much as you point that one finger, the four,
Yeah,
the
what's
three are like
happening,
looking
yeah.
at, are you sure, log and spec issue kind
Yeah.
of thing. So it
People need to check
prepared
themselves
me.
before they start coming at people.
yeah.
Just please focus on
Just
yourself.
focus on you, God, and drink water.
Drink water.
Be happy.
because you're unhappy focusing on someone else,
Yes.
and someone else's voice, someone
Yes,
else's
their life,
look, someone else's
their
social,
being, their
decisions and lifestyle decisions. So, real quick, what was this experience like? Now
Miss
you got
Uganda?
to Miss Uganda, yeah.
It was, I believe it's one of the hardest years. All the girls were hungry. They were willing. They were all able. There was not one I would look at. They were go-getters. I could see this fire in all of them. We're doing this. We're winning. We all want that crown. And I was like, did I fall into a pack of wolves?
Oh, I know.
Women who are focused on one goal.
Yeah.
It's a powerful thing to see, but
it is.
it's also a very scary place to be.
Yeah.
So it was shocking for me, but I realized I can exist in a space with fellow women, and we don't have to be catty. We can help each other, and we can grow.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We actually became a sisterhood. We
That's
started
nice.
our little foundation.
And then society has
know.
told us, well, it's not what usually happens. Society has told us that women will not get along. That's a lie.
Yeah.
That's
It's not,
a lie.
It can happen.
It can. Women can get along, and when they get along,
It's so beautiful to see.
it's unstoppable.
Yes.
It's unstoppable.
Yes.
So when you start realizing that, I think
we can do this.
I'm getting somewhere with this, I'm sure that motivated you more.
It did.
That pushed you more.
It did, and it also scared me because your expectations are now piled on you. You've won this crown. What next?
What next?
What do you gain out of this?
What
Who
was
do
the
you become?
feeling though? I want to
The
know
feeling on the
feeling
winning
of being-
moment for me, crowning moment.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, I have so much work to do. That's the only feeling I remember.
kidding?
Yeah. They put
Wow.
that thing on my head, and I thought, I have so much work to do. That's the
I
only thing I
can-
remember.
yeah.
In fact, you can see it out of my eyes. Like I was so tired. I was like, so much work to do. That's all. That's the only
So
thought
wasn't
that
it hectic?
passed.
Didn't it come with some bit of challenges,
It
to
was
keep up
hectic.
and appear?
It
and
was because there wasn't that much support for us then. So you have to look a certain way, show up to all these events. Maybe you needed 5 places in a day. And the media is not kind, so you can't wear the
It's
same
not
dress
kind. It's not.
for all 5.
Thank you.
Otherwise, they will say you're broke.
Oh, I know.
So
then
we would
it
change
puts
out
you
of our
under pressure.
cars, keeping up appearances, to fit the mold. Because when someone meets a Miss Uganda, it's an experience for them.
Yeah.
So you can't let them down. You have to show up for them. You have to do the charities. You fundraise. Everywhere you go, you're working. But people see it like you're just here. No. We're actually making connections, networking for the projects that we focused on. I was able to do what I set out to do. I supported the organization I set out to support, supported others, taught sexual education classes in villages, helped build an orphanage. We did work
And all
that
these
really
things are
warms
not
the
easy,
heart.
guys.
They're
This is
not.
all community work. This
Yes.
is all changing people's lives, and that's I think one thing that people do not appreciate or even realize.
Yes.
And it is so sad.
It is. I wish that people would put as much energy in the support of the pageant as much as they would in the fighting it, because the work that is to be done is a lot. When you compete at Miss World, you also compete in beauty with a purpose. So if I bring a great project, one that shows that the community is behind me and these people are in need, I get funding, and we can use that funding.
To
It's
improve
not
people's
for me,
lives.
it's not for the lights, If I'm going to be in an orphanage building or a village, it's not for me. But the support usually stops when the lights come down and
I know, yeah.
she's crowned, and everybody goes, we're done.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So, real quick, let's get into your acting career.
My acting career.
How, because usually, you are talented, but what pushes you? You
What
do
pushed
this.
me with
You know you
that?
can do it. But what pushed you to? Because now you've gone through
Yes.
Miss Uganda.
Yes.
And then, when does the light bulb go on
For the acting?
Yeah.
I was called by Nana Kaga to, this was after Big Brother,
Yes.
because I did that too.
Yeah, you did that to Avra. Yes, I do
yes.
remember quite clearly.
Yes.
Let's first go back. Thank you. Big Brother.
Yeah.
How did you you're like, let me sign up for these two?
I needed I knew I had to get on more stairs.
You're an
take another-
adventurous person.
I'm an adventurous
Yeah,
person.
okay,
And continent continental exposure is not the same as.
Back just at home,
Yes.
yeah.
So I knew I wanted to be in film. I knew I wanted to, whatever I was going to do.
Yes.
If it's
So
business,
every decision you took
just put yourself
like-
out there.
Yeah.
I had to strategize that through. And of course, the African continent is what it is. If I want to work in Nigeria, if I want to work in Kenya, how am I? Who am I?
Exactly.
Just let them know you're there. And indeed, it did do a lot of things for me. I got some acting training in there, and it made me think, I can actually do
I
this.
think I can do acting.
So when I came back, Nana Kaga called me to try for a series that she was going to do. And that's when she's like, oh, she trained me a little bit. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do this.
I can do this.
Then I
yeah.
did a stage play. And from the stage play, second chance. And from second chance, full streams. And full, now to
Yes.
Sanyu.
Now to say.
Yes.
And you're doing quite well, I must say.
Thank you so
I must
much.
say you're doing
I
quite well.
appreciate it.
Personally, I enjoy to see people grow.
Thank you.
And that means that so many of our young girls out there are
Yes.
inspired as
Yes.
well. No matter the story that's going to be given. You know,
Yes.
quite often people will come up with their stories and give stories.
Always.
So now, currently, you're still part of Miss Uganda.
Yes, I'm still part of
Yes.
Miss Uganda, the Academy of Queens.
Yes. Yes. So how do you get into this? You must be enjoying the...
I love
the-
acting.
Yes.
It's something I do. I love it, but you'll not believe I'm the shyest person I know.
Yeah, you can pick it
Yeah.
a bit. Yeah.
So I'm very shy, very reserved, but when the camera rolls, I have to do my job and run. So that's how I
Takes
see it.
confidence, you know.
Yeah. I
Some
have to
people are
push.
talented, but they're like, oh. Exactly.
Yeah.
So while you're doing your acting, I know you're still doing your acting, and this kind of work, what people do not know, you become
Yes.
quite busy.
Yes.
Yes. How are you balancing these things to decide and say, I think I can do be part of the Miss Uganda and continue with my acting?
I can't. It's a blessing because my boss at Sanyo is understanding of that we all have careers outside the show. And also Miss Uganda is my family, you know. I can't, whenever they call, I'm there.
Yeah.
So being part of the academy, I'm very, very passionate about what we do. So who comes next to me is, I'm always like on the edge, like,
On the edge,
who are
like
they
this-
bringing
this-
to join
yes.
us? Let her not embarrass us.
Exactly.
Let her do a good job. We want her to do well.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I feel a responsibility to groom her, to even protect her. The things I went
is
through, she
true.
doesn't have to
That
go
is
through. To teach her, you know, the mistakes I've made. I wouldn't want you to do that. I want you to let your path be clean. You know, you make better career choices than I did.
And you're a judge.
And I'm a
And
judge,
you're a
so
judge. Yes. So what are you looking at as a judge? What are you?
for this
What's
one,
your Miss Uganda like?
I love authenticity. I want the girl to be as real as she
She can be.
real, but also to know that when I place this girl in a room full of white women wearing 7-6-inch heels, she will not disappear. That she will fight, you know.
She has.
She just has to shine, you know, because that's what Miss World is. You can easily blend. The cameras can disappear. The girls are going. They're fighting for this crown. If you don't have a fighting spirit, you won't go far. I want a girl who is authentic, who is a go-getter, a fighter, but also very smart and quick on her feet. If you're going to speak to Miss Julia Morley, what will you say that will have you remember her? If you speak to the president, what will you say that will have him remember you? Who are you bringing every time you open yourself up to people? So that's
Yes.
what I'm looking at.
That's what you're looking at, and
Yeah.
that's something that's quite important. So I want you to talk to the people out there.
Yes.
Also, Happy Women's Month.
Thank you. Happy
Yes.
Women's Month.
Yes.
Happy
And I
Women's
kept
Month.
telling people we shouldn't just celebrate women once a
Yes.
month. I mean, that's a hoax. We need to
it's
celebrate women every
it's
day.
a blessing and a job being
I
a
know.
woman. So
And you're a mother.
I am a mother.
Tell us about that.
I have my babies, and that too is a learning curve on its own. So when you speak on bullying and teaching children, I'm taking notes for myself as well as a
Okay.
parent.
So how old are they
I have
now?
a teenager, I have a toddler, and I have a 5-year-old.
Ooh, teenager.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a teenager and a toddler.
Yes. I know.
God is keeping me.
Indeed.
Because
And you're balancing with your work.
I'm trying.
Now, I
doing
know
my
that
best.
sounds cliche because I always tell myself I will never ask a woman how they balance work and life because no one is
God.
asking the men.
God.
How they balance work and
It's
life.
only God.
Indeed.
Like I leave and I say, Father, you keep
Yes.
them today. I don't know how they're gonna do.
I know.
They're all in school. They're like, yeah, you keep. I don't know how.
So you have girls?
I have a girl and 2 boys.
A girl and 2 boys. Who is the teenager?
The boy.
Ooh.
So you know,
Yeah.
he's unique.
He's-
I use
yeah.
only positive words with him.
Exactly. Because you
Like
know,
you,
with
you're smart, you're obedient, you're kind.
exactly.
And he's like,
Then-
what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, you are. Do
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Because
yeah.
now he's going to grow up to think, oh, I need to protect mom now, which is not a bad thing, people.
Yes, which is
It's
not,
a bad
so-
thing. And I think that's something that many parents need to know.
Yes.
You know, speak to your children.
Speak love into them, speak life into them. So even when he does something wrong, I tell him, I know this is not you. The you I know is this.
Yes.
The you I know is
so
kind.
then you're guilt tripping.
I'm not guilt trip, I'm fixing.
Yeah,
I'm
when you
speaking
tell him,
the
but you
things
say
that are
you're,
not
you're a
as
good
if they are.
child, and he's like,
And he's like, Mommy.
what did I-"
And then he forces himself to readjust.
yeah, not disappoint you, readjust.
So even the little one,
and-
as he's jumping around and doing, I'm like, I know you're obedient. I know you. That is my parenting style.
That is good.
Yeah.
That is very good. And of course, no one should misunderstand that.
Yes.
Everyone has a way they parent,
Yes.
the way they do things.
Yeah.
Please talk to the young, not just girls,
Yes.
young girls and boys, because we're preparing empowered women.
Yes.
We're forgetting the boys. And you have boys.
I have
Imagine
boys.
you were not an empowered woman. You know, these are still the mothers.
Yes.
Because we're handling the boys and the girls. Talk to the young men and women out there.
To the young men and women of this beautiful country, your lives are valuable, more than you know. Every decision you make has an equal and opposite reaction. So be very careful with the decisions you make, where you go, who you're with, what you spend your time on. I speak from experience. Learn from everything. There's always something to learn around you, and continue to improve yourselves any way you can.
Yeah.
Only good things.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored. I know we couldn't exhaust.
I know, but it's
but you know what?
okay.
We can always come back. I know
We
that
can always
for
do
a
a
fact.
part 2 and
We
you
can
say
always come back.
motherhood. Yeah.
Yes, we can always come back. Now, of course, I know she's a humanitarian in my
Yes.
books.
I am.
Former Miss Uganda, and she's a judge now as well, and she's an actress. Now, these are all careers or part of a career that many times we've misunderstood
Yes.
or not helped. When you get children in these areas, we'd hardly even help them
Yes.
because we think, you
Yeah.
should have been a doctor. No,
Yeah,
everything
everything.
is important.
Yes.
And especially if you identify a talent, help as
Harness.
much as you can. Bullying is something we need to talk about. Now, anyone on our different social media platforms, please do give probably experiences,
Yeah.
engage, because bullying is what is creating the today bully that we're
Yes.
seeing as an adult. Children are cutting lines, that's bullying. Children are laughing at their friends. Children are
just-
nicknaming their
Yes.
friends. All of these things. We think it's normal that, I went to
But
high
it's
school
not.
and, we're called this. The self-confidence has
Yes,
been
as
played
parents
with.
as well, to put that in our
Exactly,
children.
Indeed.
Yes.
So don't wait for a child who comes back home crying, or a teacher to call you that your child has beaten or called another kid names, stepped on my shoe. Those look like simple things, yeah. But we need to have a kinder generation.
Yes.
If we are to survive in this world, if I'm
Yes.
being honest. If the person is bad, it's on them. But everyone should do their part.
One
Thank you
random
so
act
much.
of kindness
Indeed.
at a
Yes,
time.
Indeed.
Yes.
Stella Nantumbwe, and of course she's been our super soul sister tonight.
Thank you.
We've not exhausted.
It
We've
is
not
well.
exhausted, but we shall always be coming back here and
Yes.
talking more. Thank you so much for giving us time. Now stay kind, be kind, and always think of the person next to you
Yes.
and how you're going to make them feel. Have a good night. Thank you.